The only limit to our realization of tomorrow is our doubts of today. Franklin D. Roosevelt. What if the world's first trillionaire is already among us? A fortune so massive it could rival entire national economies, once thought impossible for one person to amass. But history has shown us that the boundaries of wealth are constantly being pushed, from merchants ruling trade routes to tech moguls revolutionizing industries. Every era has redefined what's possible. Is a trillion-dollar fortune within reach? Could innovation, technology, or ambition be the key? Today we'll uncover the evolution of wealth, the rise of billionaires, and the factors that could make trillionaires a reality. Buckle up. Let's navigate this trillion-dollar possibility together. For centuries, wealth has been shaped by those who dared to innovate. In medieval Europe, merchant cities like Venice and Genoa built vast fortunes by controlling trade routes, laying the foundation for modern capitalism. Banking families like the Medicis didn't just store wealth, they multiplied it, pioneering financial systems that still influence global economies today. Their legacy? The idea that money isn't just earned, it's strategically grown. Then came the Industrial Revolution, where wealth shifted from trade to industry. Figures like Andrew Carnegie revolutionized steel, proving that innovation and efficiency could turn a poor immigrant into one of history's richest men. Meanwhile, banking institutions funded expansion, accelerating the cycle of wealth across the Atlantic. America's manifest destiny opened a new frontier for fortune building. Oil, railroads, and automobiles created titans like Rockefeller and Ford, whose innovations transformed entire industries. By the 20th century, technology took center stage, from mass production to the internet, paving the way for billionaires to emerge at an unprecedented pace. Like the philosopher Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Yet history shows that those who create lasting impact often accumulate unimaginable fortunes. Could the next evolution of wealth lead to a trillionaire? Let's dive deeper. If there's one resource that redefined the global economy, it's oil. The discovery of vast oil reserves in the 20th century didn't just fuel industries, it created entire empires. Countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait, once reliant on trade and agriculture, saw their fortunes skyrocket as oil became the backbone of modern civilization. With black gold beneath their feet, these nations transformed into economic powerhouses, using their wealth to build futuristic cities, invest in global markets, and wield influence on the world stage. Meanwhile, oil companies like ExxonMobil, Shell, and BP became corporate giants, proving that controlling resources meant controlling wealth. John D. Rockefeller's Standard Oil set the blueprint for this, becoming one of the most powerful businesses in history before being broken up for monopolizing the industry. Even today, oil remains a dominant force, funding sovereign wealth funds and shaping global politics. Oil has long been called the lifeblood of the economy. It powered industries, built billionaires, and concentrated wealth like never before. But as the world shifts towards renewable energy and new technological frontiers, could the next fortune that rivals oil wealth create the first trillionaire? Let's find out. For most of history, being a millionaire was almost unheard of. But the early 20th century changed that. Industrial expansion, the rise of the stock market, and the growth of multinational corporations created a wave of new wealth. Suddenly, businessmen weren't just making comfortable livings, they were building financial empires. With industries like steel, oil, and automobiles booming, fortunes grew rapidly. Banking and the stock market allowed wealth to multiply, giving rise to financial giants who understood the power of investment. Figures like J.P. Morgan didn't just make money, they moved markets, proving that wealth wasn't just about owning industries, but also controlling capital. At the same time, globalization expanded business beyond borders. Companies like Ford and General Electric didn't just dominate locally, they scaled internationally, creating a class of economic elites whose wealth transcended nations. This was the birth of the modern millionaire class, the first financial elite of the new age. As business magnates learned to leverage global markets, the question became, how far could wealth really go? If the 20th century made millionaires, could the 21st century give rise to the first trillionaire? Let's keep going. If the millionaire class changed the game, billionaires rewrote the rules entirely. The late 20th and early 21st centuries saw wealth concentration reach unprecedented levels, with a handful of individuals shaping entire industries. But unlike the industrial titans of the past, today's billionaires didn't just build businesses. They transformed how we live, work, and communicate. Tech visionaries like Bill Gates revolutionized computing with Microsoft, Jeff Bezos redefined commerce with Amazon, and Elon Musk disrupted transportation and space exploration with Tesla and SpaceX. Their fortunes weren't just a result of hard work, they came from scaling innovation on a global level. Then came the rise of data-driven empires. Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook changed how people connect, while Google's founders, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, turned information into one of the most valuable resources of the digital age. The ability to harness technology and networks accelerated wealth accumulation in ways never seen before. Baron Rothschild famously remarked, "Buy when there's blood in the streets," a principle that many billionaires have embraced in times of crisis. Whether during market crashes or industry shifts, these billionaires thrived by seizing opportunities. But with wealth growing at breakneck speed, the question now is the trillionaire era next? Let's dive deeper. If wealth accumulation was impressive in the past, today it's moving at lightning speed. The richest individuals on the planet are growing their fortunes at an unprecedented rate, and the numbers prove it. Research from Oxfam and the World Inequality Lab shows that the wealth gap is expanding faster than ever. The Forbes Billionaires Index shows that not only are billionaires multiplying, but their net worths are skyrocketing faster than ever before. So, what's fueling this rapid surge in wealth? A few key factors stand out. First, globalization has created a market where companies can instantly scale to billions of customers. Tech giants don't just dominate one country, they operate worldwide, generating massive profits. Second, tax policies and financial loopholes allow the ultra-wealthy to preserve and grow their fortunes. Offshore accounts, tax havens, and strategic financial planning ensure that billions stay in the hands of those who already have them. And finally, technology, particularly AI, automation, and digital platforms, has opened the floodgates for exponential wealth creation. As industries become more digitized, those who control the tech behind them reap unimaginable profits. At this pace, the billionaire boom could soon evolve into something even bigger. Could the world's first trillionaire be just around the corner? $1 trillion. It sounds almost unreal, yet with the speed at which wealth is growing, the possibility of the world's first trillionaire is no longer just a fantasy. But what exactly would it take to reach this level of fortune? One path could be disruptive innovation. The trillionaire of the future might emerge from breakthroughs in AI, biotech, or even space exploration, industries that could redefine how we live and work. Another possibility lies in emerging markets where rapid economic growth could create new wealth giants, much like China did with its tech billionaires. Then there's monopolistic expansion. If a company dominates multiple trillion-dollar industries, its founder could be the first to cross the trillionaire threshold. But becoming a trillionaire won't be easy. Government regulations are tightening, with increased scrutiny on monopolies and wealth concentration. There's also public backlash. As global inequality grows, political and social pressure to redistribute wealth is rising. And let's not forget economic risks. Financial instability, inflation, or a global recession could wipe out billions overnight. As Arthur Schopenhauer once said, wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become. The race to $1 trillion may be inevitable, but will it ever truly be enough? So could the first trillionaire be walking among us today? Given the rapid pace of wealth accumulation, it's certainly possible. Industries like AI, space exploration, and biotech are scaling at unprecedented levels, and history shows that when industries boom, so do fortunes. If someone can dominate multiple trillion-dollar sectors, they could be the first to hit the milestone. But is it inevitable? Not quite. Governments worldwide are ramping up regulations to curb monopolies and extreme wealth concentration. Public sentiment is shifting, with increasing debates about wealth inequality and fair distribution of resources. Economic downturns, stock market crashes, or disruptive policies could all prevent an individual from ever reaching trillionaire status. And then comes the ethical question: should one person control that much wealth? Some argue that extreme wealth could be used for global good, funding space colonization, curing diseases, or solving climate change. Others fear it could lead to even greater economic disparity and corporate influence over governments. Perhaps the first trillionaire is already among us, or perhaps the world won't allow it. Either way, we're entering a new era, one that will redefine wealth, power, and opportunity.